G'day and welcome back to the OCE Championship League Play, the second last League Play of this season. Yeah, League Play. Yeah, the second last League Play of League Play. Wow, I'm of course joined by Yummy Cheeseman now and Courier as analyst.
Yeah, we're sure here.
Yeah, we're going into the second match of Ground Zero today. They're coming up against Justice Gaming. Is that good enough for you now?
It is. I think the brain removal session pretty well. Speaking of brains as well, I did notice the predictions this week. Two play-by-plays, both getting their predictions wrong on the last series. It's a bit of a theme going on here.
Did they both go Avant?
They both went Avant. Also, he hates Ground Zero.
No, that's what you guys say. I've never said those words in my entire life, and you keep on putting it in my mouth, and I don't know why.
I'm not taking the bait on that one.
Getting down to the brass tacks, guys. This matchup here, Justice versus Ground Zero, we just saw Avant versus Ground Zero, and it went, well, very different to what I thought, but what you thought, Yummy. How do you think this matchup here is going to go?
Well, to me, the reason I've been predicting Ground Zero, I actually am the only one to predict them in this match. The reason I went with them is because they had no pressure, and you really saw that on the pitch. They're sort of in that spot where they're like, well, we're probably not making it. It's almost impossible, and that's the best moment. That's when you play your best game, you get those passes off.
Your Aussie battler style, when you're down and out, you come up and go for the underdog story.
That used to always be my strategy. Oh, we're going to lose this. We're the worst team ever. Oh, we actually won somehow. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, wow.
You heard it here first. Throwing is winning.
I think that ghost factor was a huge impact to the way that they played in comparison to what we saw of them in previous weeks, and it's really good to see because it's a confident team coming out of it, and especially when your kind of backs up against the wall, confidence is what you need.
The problem is that Justice Esports are a completely different team to Avant. Avant gave them so much room, and they used that wisely to get the passes off. Can they do it against Justice, who play incredibly fast?
Yeah, that's the thing I was worried about as well. Justice, they're already confidently sitting kind of in that top 4 slot. It's not locked in, but
they're not confident. They have to win this one
that's what I'm saying.
Because they're up against Chiefs next, and
but currently they're in the top 4 spot. So if they can utilize this, they can lock themselves into a confident position for next week. Whereas on the flip side, Ground Zero is in that climbing position. They've kind of climbed out from that bottom 2. Now this is their opportunity to kind of climb into the top 4 loosely. And this is a good matchup for them to have for tiebreakers as well. If they can beat out another team that's a key contender for top 4, this is going to be critical.
But it's a bit of a bad spot because it's all about tiebreakers. And if you were to rationally look at this, right, Justice versus Ground Zero, Courier, who would you pick in this match?
I think I'm going to have to go with Justice. Just the way they've grown over the season has been incredible. And then with Ghost, whilst he may have had a beautiful match then, I don't know if it's going to be like a one-time showing or if this is like a consistent trend.
I think it's going to be really close. I think Justice are a solid team, but just like I said at the start of the season, they'll have good weeks and bad weeks, good matches and bad matches. And I don't know if Yeezy is going to have the stellar match he had last week. So I am going with Ground Zero.
Well, I have to agree with what you said. Not in your prediction, but what you said a little bit earlier about how their matchup...
players never know anything.
Exactly right, yeah. So, in fact, I don't even have a prediction at all.
Whatever he predicts, just think the opposite. So, what's your prediction?
No, I'm going with Justice here.
Oh, so he's going with Ground Zero.
I'm out then, I guess. That's how this works.
Sorry.
Throw me straight under the bus. I love it.
Don't even run the game. We can just end it here.
I think the honeymoon period, I feel, is a little bit over just because up against Avant, as you said before, it's a very different team compared to Justice. And I feel like Justice are going to be that much faster, and it's going to be a huge impacting factor about how well Ground Zero are going to play in this match.
It's going to be a lot of passes back and forth. Justice Esports, if they lose this, they're all but out. Considering Ground Zero would potentially be on the same 3-0 or 3-4 as they could end up being, this could be the time for Ground Zero to turn around their entire season.
Justice Esports already keeping it in the Ground Zero's defensive half. 15 seconds in, and you can see the pressure is continuing there. Yeezy challenges the ball. Now Whisk gets a free shot on net. The double commit from Ground Zero. The pressure is laying on. The call out from Steve. Intercepted in the midfield. Ground Zero's opportunity now. Whisk on the backboard. Yeezy touched away again. Challenged. Now sitting just in front of Justice Esports net, but a beautiful clear.
But we are seeing Justice Esports beating Ground Zero to the ball. They are playing faster, in Ground Zero, they had a slower match. They've got time to speed up their play.
Steve gets a touch. Challenged away by Walcott.
By the wall.
By the wall, yep. Me totally lost for words. Me don't talk good much. Yep.
Play-by-plays, am I right?
Yeah, that's right. The brain surgery did actually go well. Thank you for asking. Lim, challenged away to Ghost. Away into corner. Now Yeezy Leaving it for Whis. Good idea. Communications flowing. Walcott challenged away, actually. No challenge from Ground Zero. It's an open net. Lim gets a free shot on. Ground Zero with a 1-0 lead.
First time they get any pressure, they just take away all the boost. Justice Esports will put in the back foot. Steve was almost bumped there, and then that opened up the net completely. Ground Zero just working like a well-oiled machine.
Ground Zero looking too strong right now. 1 minute and 20 seconds for that goal. Does still feel very back and forth.
Whenever you're watching Justice Esports, you have to look at the kickoffs because they go for an aggressive double boost, and that almost gets them, but they've still got pressure against them from the kickoff.
The passing plays coming out. Steve kicked it away. Now Yeatsy up on the wall. No, Ghost is actually very fast. This is a bit of an open net right now.
It's close, and Ground Zero starting to stranglehold the net. They're running out of boost, but Walcott has none as well.
Walcott, no boost, has to rotate back. Whis with a free flick. Lim, actually, the patience works out. Steve onto the backboard. This is Justice Esports time. Yeatsy gets the touch. No, Walcott is in defense. Can he follow it up? Yes, he gets a second touch. Now Whis cleared away. A good pass off to Steve. On the side. Can he go for a second? He does. It's sitting in front of net. No, it went for a free shot.
Such a clever touch from Steve, and it's going to set up a lot here for Justice Esports. They've got a lot of pressure that they can build up just off that pace that Steve can get.
Now Steve into center. Whis is there, but challenged away by Ghost. A good touch. A free shot on, and Ground Zero make it a 2-0 lead.
Ghost, what is happening? Oh my, Ghost just absolutely flicks that pass. You don't see that angle coming. Yeatsy thought it's going to the corner, gets fooled, and gets 2-0.
Ghost, he is really melding so well for his team, and you can see the confidence working out for Ground Zero.
That's key. Ghost is confident. You saw him in defense there. Just go and try and beat his opponent to the ball. Then in attack, just go for the shot, and it's working out every single time.
Now Ground Zero again, pushing it into Justice Esports half. Steve has some control, no challenge from Ground Zero. Walcott on the backboard, Lim goes for it. It's a bit of an open net here. Ground Zero could have another opportunity, but no, they decide to back off, play it a little bit safe,
there was a bump in the midfield there. That's what stopped the third man. What a shot from Whis.
Whis with the absolute boomer. The passing plays from Justice. They say we are down, but not out.
The pace was incredible. Just look at that shot, and now they're finally beating the Ground Zero defense to the ball.
Whis with a bit of a retaliation shot there. Justice Esports are not out for the count. Now the next kickoff happens. Justice Esports have control here. Steve pushes it away. Walcott actually jumps awkwardly in net, misses the ball, but Ghost is ready to back him up.
Such a smart touch too.
Takes a free shot. Whis has the defense. He gets the quick touch as well. Justice Esports could make something happen here, but it feels like Ground Zero have a bit of a free clear. Now Yeatsy and Steve taking their time, recognizing they have a bit of time to work with. Walcott touched away. No, Steve gets demoed as well. It's sitting there, but a good clear from Ground Zero.
Walcott keeps backing off. He shouldn't have been there in the net. He should have already challenged in the midfield. You cannot give Justice Esports chances like that to build pressure.
Whis touched away into center, but Lim and Ghost are ready for the team play. Yeatsy with a quick defense. Ground Zero layering it all on. The bump off the wall. This could be the opportunity to clear out this game and make it a 3-1. But it gets pushed away by Justice Esports.
The bump was just enough to give them more time, but it has been cleared back, and Justice Esports, they're getting some pressure plays, but they're never ever really opening up the net. They're not finding those passes they were last week against Legacy.
Ground Zero look like a totally different team right now, and it's working out so far. Walcott pushed it away to Ghost. The positioning, the passing, working out. Yeatsy actually gets bumped in net. Now Whis off to the side. Steve flipped a bit awkwardly there, still has a bit of ball control and some room. Gets a flick, beats out one, almost beats a second. Lim touched it on top of his net. This could be awkward, it is. Whis with the clear.
They goombed each other in the net. This was the bad touch here. Ghost just trying for any clear. Lim could not follow it up, and that is heartbreaking, but for Justice Esports, that's their way back into this series.
Whis had the ball just land right in front of his feet, just had to breathe on it to put it in the net there. 30 seconds left in this match, and it is now 2-2. Ground Zero had all the pressure in the first half. Justice now have it in the second, but Ground Zero with a free shot from Ghost. Lim gets the demo on. Steve is in control here. Whis now respawns with a bit of boost. Yeatsy in the center. Ground Zero wanting to make their mark. Whis Gets a free clear off to the side. Now Walcott is the one to receive it. Can he go for the double touch? He tries it. Unfortunately doesn't get it, but Lim is there.
What a
the
save,
defense,
Steve.
the follow-up.
No, Yeezy.
4 seconds, 3. Yeezy now has control. Can Justice Esports retaliate with something of their own? They might be able to, but I think this one is going down for Ground Zero. It is overtime in this first match.
That was ridiculous defense from Justice Esports. They have no right to still be in this game, but it's overtime. 2 apiece in the first one.
Ground Zero looking too strong, but Justice hanging on by the thread of the needle. Now Lim pushing it away to Whis, touched away into center. Justice Esports needing to make this work. Ground Zero having to make their mark. It's on the backboard. This could float straight down, but Lim is there. Whis ready to receive. The defense from Ground Zero isn't quite there. It's a bit of an open net. But no, gets cleared away by Ghost.
Maybe this is when the pressure gets to Ghost. The overtime can really set it up, and you see him backing off again. Last time hitting the roof, this time all the way to back boost.
You see with a bit of a free clear, Walcott away. Ghost jumps for it again. You are so right. He's feeling the pressure. Ground Zero, though, still have a bit of control. The triple commit. Justice Esports just need to clear it out right now, but Walcott's a little bit too fast. Yeezy on the backboard, not enough boost. Whis does have control here. Ground Zero now on the back foot. Lim with a bit of a touch. Can he follow it up? He does. It's a bit open. No, Steve has the challenge.
There's a shot.
It's an opportunity for Ground Zero. Steve touched away. 1 minute into this overtime, and it could be anyone's game right now.
Whis is just doing so much work, just pushing that ball forward, building time for his team. But even now, Yeezy just has to back off.
Yeezy with a good read. Yeezy again with a second. Now Ghost touched away. Justice Esports on the back foot. Steve with a bit of a pass, but Ghost pops it up. Lim is so far back right now. Nowhere near the play. Yeezy beats out 1, doesn't beat out Lim. Whis is up. Steve is demoed. Ground Zero could make quick work of this. No, they can't. The defense from Justice Esports is there.
This is an opportunity. Walcott with a mistouch, but he just saves it out as well.
Justice
right
Esports.
now, the two teams firing back and forth with opportunities. And the open net now. Steve, the last defender.
Lim gets the clear away to the side. Ground Zero's opportunity. Their time is here. Ghost with a bit of a shot. No, it goes to the backboard. Whis gets the touch. Steve has a bit of control. Can he beat out the 1? He does. It's a little bit too wide, though. And now Ground Zero get a bit of a clear. Can Walcott get the free shot on net? He can't. Justice Esports a little bit too fast.
2 minutes into overtime. Is this the finisher? No! Off the side post. It feels like this match has gone on twice as long as it has.
Walcott, now Lim, this might be it. No, it's not. Whis with the clear. I think that's it. Whis makes it happen. Justice Esports win the first game.
They won by defense. They get this big save. It pops out to Whis, and he sends it all the way down the pitch. How do Justice Esports hold on for that long, make save after save after save? And you have to remember, they have everything on the line.
That was some of the most exciting and the most heartfelt Rocket League I think I've seen in a long time, Yummy. Because both these teams, you could see they wanted it so much. Both of them taking so many shots on, so many opportunities were happening. And it was a bit heartbreaking to see for Ground Zero there because they had so many opportunities to get it in the net, but Justice Esports were just there.
And I think it was like 8 saves to 10. Walcott had 6 saves just by himself, the double savior medal. That was a ridiculous opportunity just to get them into overtime in the first place. The double save with Steve and Whis. Those two are performing brilliantly, and I think Jake earlier in the season was talking about Steve being a carry. I think he's really starting to show that form, and Yeezy is going back to his back of the field position.
What was surprising for me was the fact that Ground Zero had full control in the first half of that match. We saw them go a straight 2-0 up. And then it was Justice Esports needing to claw back into that match, and they did it. But I also felt that a lot of those opportunities were from the overcommitting from Ground Zero.
Yeah, they often left Walcott really far back, and I don't think Walcott was dealing with that well enough. When you've got the pressure, you've got 3 Justice players bearing down on you, it can be really hard, but he needs to find those clears. He needs to get the ball away from those 3 attackers. Whis having a great series so far. Can he keep that up and get Justice into the top 4?
Well, if game 1 was the litmus test, this is looking like an exciting series. Whis challenged. Now Walcott is, again, the last man in defense. A quick challenge from Justice Esports, but Walcott gets the clear. Now he goes, no, he doesn't go for the boost, goes for the ball instead. Still manages to steal the boost away. Whis has full control here, goes for the backboard pass, actually going for a double touch, interrupting the ground zero clear. Walcott has a bit of control. Steve is a little bit too fast there. And the challenge in midair works out for Steve.
Steve is so good in the air. He finds the 50-50, and Lim did not expect it. Look at him going for boost as Ghost gets beaten out, and that is Justice Esports now with 4 goals in a row.
Well, confidence is a bit of a double-edged sword. He says, oh, I have a good teammate who would be able to clear that. I can then go and get boost, but Justice Esports making a bit of quick work at ground zero, getting the quick lead. Now Lim actually gets away from his opposition. Now Walcott gets the free shot, ground zero with a quick goal.
That was a laser beam, but unfortunately it was targeted at the crossbar. Ghost has got some real striking juice in him today, and that is 1 apiece for ground zero.
I feel like Ghost woke up this morning and he put on his big boy pants and said, this is my day. This is my time to shine. And in all honesty, he really is.
This is his real breakout chance here, and he's having a big breakout performance to match it, except almost.
You're about to eat your words.
Ate my words there.
Yeah, Ghost trying to do something with this ball here. It's a bit of an open net. He might make it. No, he actually goes to the side instead. Whis touched away from the side. Lim, you see how patient he's being on the back lines. Can he get the clear off the wall? No, just waits patiently, allows his teammate to get the free clear. Justice Esports trying to make something out of this ball here. Yeatsy, there's a triple commit from both sides there. Walcott, a flick over to Lim, doesn't quite connect. Challenged away again, sitting in the midfield here.
Walcott really had the open net opportunity too. Justice Esports, neither team actually, really looking to hard defend.
Oh, that was a shot and a half.
Finds the absolute angle.
You see it bounce off the side post and into net. The defender from ground zero was actually ready for that one, but he didn't quite expect it to go in.
He had to dive for it as well. He was late coming back, and that makes it difficult. Justice Esports again in the lead.
They're in the lead, and it's a very different story from last game. They were clawing from behind. Now Yeatsy making sure his team is pushing ahead. Steve on the wall. Ghost jumps a little bit early. Does get the connection. Touched away from Ghost. Ground zero tries to make a backboard play. Nothing quite happening. Walcott with a free touch. Yeatsy is the last defender. Walcott tries to just hand it off to his teammate. Doesn't quite make it there.
After a nerve-wracking game one, it really feels more Justice favored at the moment. Just 1 goal from ground zero and a little bit of luck required.
Ghost touched away to the side, ground zero. Lim over to Walcott, gets a free shot on net, doesn't quite make it. Yeatsy touched away, Ghost is ready to interrupt. Steve recognizes Whis is there, the pass, ground zero might have an opportunity. Yeatsy touched away into the midfield again. You see how fast Whis is being, and it's working out so far. Yeatsy touched away, bumps Ghost instead of the ball. Ground zero are almost fully out of gas here. Yeatsy trying to make something happen.
You really see ground zero do have a lot more confidence in attack, but as soon as they get defense or anything goes against them, they rush back to the net. Another shot on, but it's not going to set up anything just yet.
2-1 to Justice Esports and a little bit over halfway.
Oh, Lim.
But a couple of peppered shots from ground zero. Trying to make something work here. Ghost gets interrupted by Yeatsy. Steve touched away. Lim is there. Can he follow it up? No. The triple commit from ground zero. Nothing is happening in offense.
Ghost went for the risky play. He wasn't confident in his player behind him, even though he had the open net.
You can see the getting a little bit frazzled, but it seems to be sort of okay right now. And Ghost with a free goal. I was not expecting that one to happen.
Just all the way down the pitch, brings it up, sees that there is an open net. I mean, let's be honest, Ghost has been a bit greedy this game, but he deserves that.
Well, the greed is working out because now he's equalized this game, Yummy. It is the exact same scoreline as last game when it went into overtime. And so ground zero looking for a different finish to this one.
The passes are good. They're starting to up the pace as well. Beginning of the series, Justice Esports were faster. Now it is about 50-50.
Steve over to Whis. Whis gets a good touch, doesn't quite make it accurate. But again, they still have the pressure. Steve with a quick shot on. Yeatsy, you see him waiting for the clear. Whis doesn't have enough boost actually to get to this one. Steve with the demo on Lim stops the pressure from ground zero, but Walcott still up in their business. Steve touched away to Yeatsy. Both Yeatsy and Lim are up. Lim's a little bit too fast. No, Whis is the last defender.
I thought he was orange.
No, his car is
Oh, I had the
Yummy.
brain removal surgery.
Oh, as
well.
sharp as a bowling ball as ever. Now Ghost trying to make something happen in the midfield. Lim touching it away. Yeatsy gets the clear. Walcott, it's actually an open net for ground zero, but Whis a little bit too fast. Ghost touched away. It's sitting in the corner here. Nothing quite working for either team. No clears, no offensive punish. Walcott off to the side. Ghost is retreating again. Now Whis from Steve. Is Yeatsy there to follow up? No, Ghost actually gets the clear. A good idea from Yeatsy to turn around.
Fast clear from Ghost, and as we approach overtime, it gets nervous, more and more nervous. Justice Esports and Ground Zero. We saw a 2.5 minute overtime. Will it get repeated? The save, it goes, hits the crossbar.
Yo, Walcott with just a quick shot on, almost made it. The top bins and then out, unfortunately. Walcott, 7 seconds left, ground zero. It's sitting in their half. Whisk, you see him scrambling to get to this ball. Justice Esports, but overtime, the exact same as last game.
Yeatsy got such a crucial intercept right at the end there. They're back in overtime. This series couldn't be any closer.
Ghost, the demo in net.
No.
Ground Zero's time is now, but neither player could get a quick shot on.
He slowed
Steve,
it down and looked for the angle, but it's not there.
They're trying for this retaliation goal, the same as last time. Lim tries to commit it, but it gets pushed over to Whis. Walcott touched away now. Ghost has no boost. You see Yeatsy get a quick shot. Justice Esports are up. Steve, can he get the angle? No, he can't. It's just off. Yeatsy trying to make something happen now. Ground Zero needing to get this clear.
These 50-50s aren't going in Justice Esports' favor. That's going to turn it around. Justice Esports, they seem like they have all the possession, but just can't get the pass.
Lim now having a bit of a wall clear. Yeatsy up to challenge this ball, doesn't quite get there. Whis is the last defender. Steve has to make connection with this ball or it's going to be bad news goose. But no, he does make it. Very close. Now Yeatsy has a bit of control, gets challenged away by Walcott. This could actually end up in Justice Esports' favor. It's sitting right in front of Ground Zero's net. Ghost is up for it, makes the connection. Whis goes for the double touch. Can he do it? Oh, he had the angle, Yummy.
You saw him hold that for the moment, but just saved out. Ground Zero and Justice Esports, we're going to get to have another close overtime.
Whis with a clear, pinched away by Lim. It's sitting again right up above their net. The touch off the roof, it works out. Steve finishes it off.
Ground Zero jumped past it. Steve found the open net. Bang right up against the roof here from Yeatsy. Another overtime, and Justice Esports show just how clutch they are.
Ground Zero just falling too short and a little bit close there from the defender, but couldn't quite get that connection. It was so pivotal. He needed that clear, and that could have been the goal that they had.
It's got to be really frustrating for Ground Zero. They've been close. Both times have had opportunities back and forth. It's really felt like an even game, both games. But in the end, you make one mistake and you're done.
Well, I honestly, earlier in the week, I predicted Justice Esports just because I thought they were way faster. But with Ghost, in this addition to the Ground Zero roster, they're both playing so similar and so fast. But I think it's those overcommittal in offense from Ground Zero that's kind of letting them down a little bit.
Yeah, and Ghost is he's playing very confidently, but I think that this is where the lack of experience gets to him. You know, he's the rookiest of rookies at this point, up against Justice Esports, who are all rookies. But when it gets to that overtime, when it gets close to that overtime, he changes how he plays. He moves further back, and they lose a lot of their offensive pressure. Yeah,
it's a little bit sad to see when you see those either the backboard plays come out or the passing plays, and then you see kind of Ghost either back all the way when he could have been there to kind of interrupt, you know, the defensive clear or done something to help his team out. And it's not just Ghost that's doing that, though, because a lot of the players from both of these teams are getting to that point of being like, well, I should just back off here to play it safe, right?
It's how overtimes often go, and it's why we see the longer overtimes. But I don't think it's working for Ground Zero. They're the ones that need to change. It's working fine for Justice.
Well, Justice are 2-0 up in this matchup, Yummy.
Yep.
And it is looking very good for them right now. Both these teams, Justice and Ground Zero, are so close to winning either of these games. Justice with a free 3-0 could look so good coming into the last week of league play.
Yeah, a win here puts them in an auto-qualifying spot, assuming we're in their match against SYF next week.
Whis passing it over to Steve. The passing plays are working, but Ghost is a little bit too fast, playing as aggressive as ever. Walcott with a nice challenge. Lim gets to the ball, uses a lot of boost to get there, though. Ground Zero, a little bit shaky right now. Whis, touched away. Walcott trying to keep this pressure on. Ground Zero, the pass, the shot from Ghost. Doesn't quite connect, but 2 defenders out from Justice.
Smart defense from Steve, but there's more shots raining in. Another one from Yeezy, and that's turning it around. Luckily for Lim, he gets that demo.
Lim gets the demo to free up a bit of space for him to get a nice clear. Gets 2 touches. Now Yeezy, it's up in the air. He can do what he did last game to finish it off, but no, he goes for the backboard play. Can't quite get the double touch. Whis with the challenge. And Justice Esports, all 3 of these players are aggressive.
Yeah, and the fact that Justice Esports are still putting on this pressure means that Ground Zero have very little boost between them.
Yeezy with a bit of a flick clear. He's trying to make it happen for his team. Can he pass it out? Whis is there. No, it gets pinched away by Ground Zero. This could be the opportunity. Doesn't quite get to it. You see the read from Steve, though. Really good from him. Lim touched away. Yeezy on the backboard. He has the boost, going for the double touch. Can he get it? No, he can't. So close.
But they need to be looking for these passes. That's 2 solo plays so far. A quick pass will be much faster at scoring and capitalizing on that retreating
You see
defense.
Steve come off the side of the wall. Yeezy now has control. Is Whis to follow up? Yes, he is. Steve again, the pressure from Justice Esports layering onto Ground Zero.
But because he was so close, there was no chance to get a shot. He only had to be able to put it into the corner.
Steve touched away to the side. He has full control again and no more boost. Can he do something with it? He gets the flick, but the defense from Ground Zero is there.
They need to get these counterattacks, but right now, Whis, the smart touch, gets beaten now.
Whis trying to interrupt Ground Zero's defense. Yeezy off the side. Walcott challenges Steve. Yeezy trying to pass it up to Steve. He gets it. It's on the backboard. Can he make it happen? He almost does. Justice Esports going for a lot more double touch than we've seen before.
But they are stuck in defense. Ground Zero are getting outpaced. They're getting out-touched here from Justice Esports.
Well, not as much as you'd think, because there's 0-0 with half this game over. Steve gets the flick. The pressure is mounting. Both Whis and Yeezy are up. The triple committance coming from Justice Esports.
They need to stop that.
Steve, he's still in this corner. Cleared away by Walcott. Doesn't get the best clear, but Lim follows it up with a nice touch. Whis recognizes he has a bit of space. Ghost actually gets it onto the backboard here. Steve touches away off the side. Now Ground Zero, they're mounting their pressure. They need to keep it on, but there's no one to follow up that touch.
They were just a little bit too far back. Even Ghost right there had gone for back boost. And it's just giving Justice Esports so much time.
This could be the opportunity. Justice Esports is in Ground Zero's half. You see Yeezy trying to play the solo, and it works out.
Solo one-man army here from Yeezy. Gets the first touch down, which was a little bit of a surprise for Ghost, and then finds the angle, which no one was expecting.
He had the finesse, he had the control, and he had the finish. A spectacular play from Justice Esports puts Ground Zero almost at Ground Zero for a 3-0 victory if they can keep this up.
Yeah, they're no longer in the spot where they could even stay in. The loss for Ground Zero would mean that they have 0 chance of making it into that top 4.
Ghost gets the touch. Can he get the follow-up? Yeezy gets the clear instead. Lim off the wall. Walcott, he's up for the ball here. He makes it onto the backboard. This might be the opportunity. You see how far back Ghost. He needed to be a little bit closer to that play. 1 minute and 15 left. Ground Zero, the passes. It's in, it's out. It's not quite making it into the goal.
Justice Esports, though, they're stuck in defense. This is the first chance for Ground Zero as they just holding them, losing all their boost.
Oh, he makes it! Lim equalizes this game.
Ground Zero have found their way back in, but it's up to them to really find that control, take advantage, hit the backboard more.
That angle from Lim was insane. That was such a good touch. And you could see the defender as well came out of net, not expecting that goal to even happen. Ground Zero and Justice, 1 apiece. This game can go either way. We might be looking at a 3rd overtime, Yummy.
I think we are. It's just the way that this series will go.
Yeezy has full control. He gets a nice little backflip shot. Steve touched off the side. Whis and Yeezy are up. Ground Zero could make quick work of the defense. Walcott doesn't have enough time to clear it out. Now Ghost on the backboard. Can he make... Yes, he makes this clear. Lim jumps for it, has no boost. Justice Esports, the pressure is continuing. Steve gets cleared away by Lim. Now Walcott, the passing plays, 17 seconds left. Yeezy into the corner. Walcott tries to bump it up into the center again. Whis. Now Ghost, you see how precious he needs to be. 8 seconds. Can Justice Esports finish it off? I don't think they can. They might be able to. The doink up. 2 seconds left. Justice Esports, it's still sitting there. This could go either way. Ghost with a backboard play. The double defense. The triple man is out. And it goes to a third overtime.
This is the closest series you could possibly get for what could be a potential 3-0. The nerves, the pressure, the excitement of this series, it has to be getting to both these teams now.
Justice Esports wanting to finish this series off. Ground Zero wanting to get back into it. Walcott on the back wall. Lim now touching it away. Yeezy is there, not too fast though. Gets bumped away. Gets bumped all over the place actually. Now Whis off to the side. Yeezy with a quick shot on. Does the solo play work? Not exactly. Steve into center. This is Whis' opportunity. It's on the backboard. Where's Yeezy? He's not quite there, but Lim actually challenges his own teammate.
No one on Ground Zero to tell each other they have the time, and that could cost them.
Ground Zero looking to be so fast in this last bit of the game. Lim touched away. The Australian lag, of course. Gotta be in there. Can't miss that one. Lim recognizing he had the flick. He makes one. The challenge is there. Ground Zero might be able to finish it off. Steve is on the backboard. It's floating in front of net, but the defenders are there from Justice.
This is way more aggressive from Ground Zero. They're going on the attack. They're not rotating all the way back, but that is a big mistake. That's an even bigger one by Whis.
You see the pressure, you see the nerves coming out. Ground Zero, they looked so shaky there, but it seems to work out. Whis has a bit of control here. He has the ball, passes it away into center, but it's Ground Zero's time. The pass up to Ghost, challenged away by Yeezy. There's no Whis, it is two-man defense. Whis actually gets bumped off by his own player. Yeezy with a great read off the side. Steve now the solo play. This is it, I think he's done it. Steve has closed it out for Justice Esports. 3-0.
Justice Esports do it, and you see it off the back of Yeetsy's defense on the backboard. Steve all the way down, takes out the last player, and Justice Esports, they've put themselves right on the door of that top 4. 3 rookies who had never played before, and now they are one step away.
Yeezy making that first goal happen with the solo play, making the defensive clears that his team needed. He played out of his mind in that last series, and especially in overtime when it matters most, Tom. I mean, that was a huge series.
Yeah, I expected the win to come out from Justice, but wasn't expecting it to be anywhere nearly as clean as that was.
It was big. I mean, it wasn't super clean. It was a 3-0, but every single one in overtime. There were plenty of opportunities in that overtime for Ground Zero as well.
See, for me, I thought it was a slow degradation of the chances of Ground Zero winning. It's like come game 3, the possession was very heavily in Justice's favor, and the opportunity that Lim got to score that goal was what held them in the game, rather than actually being as close as it should have been looking at the first match.
What was super surprising to me, and I said it a little bit earlier, but earlier in the week, this looked to me like a Justice wipe. And then looking at those games there, even though it was a 3-0, each of those 3 games went to overtime, and it was a brilliant showing from both teams in this matchup.
The overtime really seemed to be where Ground Zero completely lacked. In the first one, I think they were all right. They got some opportunities there. But the second and third overtimes was just struggle, Phil.
Yeah, they actually should have won the second one. They had a complete open goal, and the opportunity was there, and they opted to pass rather than get the free win.
Yeah.
It's a little bit sad to see, but an incredible showing right now. And don't worry, guys, there will be more of this hot action coming up just after a quick little 3-minute break.